Well, hello, everybody. It's Bigfoot Michigan Rob here. You know, it's Sunday, and I apologize. I usually get out these cryptid encounters sent in to me by a subscriber or an email on Friday or Saturday. But I got to tell you, yesterday, okay, I went out and published Bigfoot Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters Book 2, which should be available by Tuesday at the latest. It's right now available on Kindle, but book 2 is coming out. I'm happy to get that done. But my day started yesterday terribly. Somehow I screwed up right before I was ready to publish this thing. I screwed up. I had to rewrite a bunch of it because I omitted 2,000 words. I accidentally deleted some things. So I had to spend like 8 hours yesterday rewriting a bunch of the things in the book. But I got it done. And you guys, it will be available on Amazon Tuesday at the latest. I'll provide the links when it comes out. So I'm excited about that. For those of you that have bought Bigfoot Michigan Rob Presents True Encounters Book 1, you can buy that. It's still on Amazon. Thanks for all of you that have. Leave a review, and you'll look forward to Book 2 coming out early this coming week. So, I got a cool story for you. Again, sorry that I'm a little late. You're going to enjoy this. This is about a Dogman, state of Maine. I'm just going to get on with it. Here we go. I always had a sense of being watched ever since I was a little boy. I even had an uncanny knack of waking up or walking up, I should say, Rob, to animals, whether they were domestic, wild, or what have you in the woods. I grew up outside of the mountains in the forests of Maine. When I got older, I moved about 15 minutes south of my parents, still keeping close with my friends and my family. Frankly, once you grow up here with all the beauty of nature, I cannot imagine anywhere else on earth to call home. I became adept at hunting and fishing, spent many hours hiking and camping, and even became an expert in trapping and fishing for the succulent, fresh Maine lobster that the world has come to love. Earlier, I brought up the part of my being watched. I always felt that, but never told either of my parents or friends, especially in the early part of my life. I feared that my mom and dad would just say that it was just my imagination or that I was dreaming. And to be honest with you, I kind of wondered that myself. I do remember I was right around 12 years old. My parents, brother, and I went camping. I almost immediately had a feeling that something or someone was peering in at us from the woodline. I got up after sleeping inside my tent sometime in the morning. It seemed as though I was being called, yet not determined, or couldn't determine, from where these thoughts inside my head were coming. Yet, I had to walk to the tree line that night. It was about 30 yards out or so from camp. I remember my dad, who was already up, saying, "Danny," my name for this, Rob, "where are you going all by yourself?" I replied back, "Dad, I just want to venture to the tree line." He responded, "Okay, son, just don't venture into the woods too far." I knew my dad was a little bit apprehensive at this, but as long as I was in his sight, I believe it eased his mind. My mom and dad started me and my twin brother, Darren, out camping at perhaps the age of 6 or 7. It seems weird to say that we already were veterans of the woods, yet still Dad was very cautious of us venturing out alone, and I respected that. So I set foot towards the tree line. The colors of the woods were full of brilliant colors, and the air was fresh and crisp. Just a great day, a great way to start the day. I got within 10 feet of the woodline when the thoughts inside my head started to flutter in my mind. The words rang out, "Go no further, Danny." I started to tremble and the palms of my hands started to sweat. I turned back around to look in at my dad. I got a visual of him. He must have noticed and gave a reassuring hand, waving back at me as he got closer towards the woodline. And I peered into the darkness. Again, the words, "Go no further, Danny," crept back into my head. I stopped, I squinted out into the woods, yet I saw nothing. Then, suddenly, an orange colored orb appeared and danced 10 feet from inside of the woodline. This went on for, I would say, 30 seconds, then it vanished. I was excited and ready to run back to tell my father. Then, a set of glowing yellow eyes appeared from where the orbs had disappeared. I knew that these were eyes, as I had experienced all sorts of eye shine in the years with my dad. These eyes were bigger, though, and seemed odd. I felt a chill run through my body. Then again, from inside my mind, the words rang out, this time different. "You are in danger." After hearing this, I turned around and sped back to camp and felt compelled to tell my dad what had just occurred. After telling my dad, as expected, he laughed and told me, "This is why I can't let you venture too far off without adult supervision." Kind of joking. He laughed again and said, "You need a few more years under your belt, son," and went about starting to chop wood for a fire, I suppose. Later on that day, around 7 at night, we all gathered around a fire. Myself, Dad, Mom, and Darren. Dad was telling campfire tales. Mom was preparing the ingredients for us to make some s'mores over the fire. Then the strange, eerie feeling of being watched took over my body, and then the words inside my mind rang out. "Your dad should have listened to you." I started to cry out to Dad and told him, "Dad, the thing from the forest has returned." My dad got kind of perturbed at me and said, "Danny, you need to get over this." My mom, being more compassionate than my dad, grabbed me and tried to comfort me and stop me from crying and said that it will be okay. While Mom was trying to console, we noticed my dad was standing up and staring back into the tree line. He almost seemed frozen and yelled, "Jan," that's my mother, "get the kids down to the truck." Before my mom can gather my brother and myself, we can see what Dad had been looking at. Not one set of glowing eyes, but 3 sets. Unlike the yellow eyes from earlier in the day, these eyes are red and they're advancing. These beings are on 4 legs and bigger than the size of an average wolf. Something told me that this was not natural. The wolf-like creatures were also not solid, kind of transparent. They were 3 abreast. Then they stood upwards on 2 legs. My entire family was in shock and terrified. My dad tried to utter words back to my mom, to my brother, and to me, but could not seem to move or exert any vocals at us. I am waiting for new words to be communicated back inside my mind like the previous times earlier, but got nothing. The beast let out a shrilling and blood-curdling cry, directed right at our campsite. Then they turned back around, back on all 4s, and raced back into the tree line. They did not even make it into the woods, as they all seemed to evaporate like steam into the night air. My dad, finally believing me, asked me exactly it was that had been communicating to me earlier. I gave him a look like, "Dad, Thanks a lot for not paying attention. Before I could answer, he put a finger to my lips, and my dad uttered, "They somehow spoke to me." Now, I guess the dad is getting spoken to, you guys. My mother asked what it was that they said. Dad replied, "They said, you better listen to your son and leave." My dad to this day always talks about that night and how he was sorry about thinking I was imagining things. That was the only time that we have experienced quite an ordeal like that. Today, I do not have any voices coming inside my head. I often wonder why this has stopped. I do know this. I'm very thankful that whatever we encountered that night gave us plenty of time to leave. I believe if we had stayed a minute longer, well, honestly, I do not dare what to think. That was pretty cool, you guys. You got a young child, young kid, 12, communicated from the wood line. Danny, leave. This is you're in danger. It seemed like the orange orbs. Maybe that was something that was offering advice, and then all of a sudden later in the evening, these four werewolves, these dogmen, whatever you want to classify them as, approached. And then all of a sudden, a communication to the father was, "You should have believed your son." That was pretty cool, pretty strange, a paranormal like experience. Certainly, I think it was a premonition or pre warning that there were dangerous dog men or whatever the like is, right, that were out to do them harm. So I think that they made the right decision and got the hell out of there. I hope you enjoyed that. You guys, book two. Book two is coming out probably by Tuesday. You can find it. I'll provide all the links. Don't forget, I'm on Tuesday night at 9 in the East. I'm on Thursday afternoon at 1 in the East, and midnights on Saturdays with the great team that I have supporting me. You all support me. I love it. If you're new here, please subscribe to Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. Have a great Sunday and enjoy your rest of your week. I'll see you on the live shows upcoming starting Tuesday. Take care. BMR. I'm out.